face was born ready. Go ahead.
What a way to start a video. Okay, so this is going to be a much more in-depth video on the intricacies of our setup, and this could take anywhere from 5 minutes to 20 minutes. I don't know. We'll see where this goes.
Depends on how many tangents you go on.
Yeah.
And how sore my arm gets.
I actually do have the spec sheet here to help try to keep me on focus.
On focus?
In focus. Whatever.
On focus?
Same difference. If you guys want the short version with just the spec sheet and a video showing off how cool it all looks, go over and just look at the RGB goodness video. In the description, there is a full spec sheet of both computers. There's a few missing details, like some part numbers on some of the displays, but nobody really cares. The general specs, you get the idea. They're fast, they're fun, they're cool. It's ridiculously overkill.
You said that so slowly.
The only thing I didn't include is in the next room, in the living room, we have a, what is it, a 53-inch?
Something like that.
48? Something like that. I don't know. It's some LG 1080p TV hooked up with a Streamlink that's all wired in, and that's 5.1, and so we can play games out there, and it's perfectly seamless. It's like I'm sitting out there.
When it functions right.
Well, now it does, since we've got it wired in with the internet. It didn't over Wi-Fi. It would be a little choppy here and there. So now we got an Ethernet cable. Nice long Cat 6 cable going all the way to it. Things run smooth, like butter. The one hitch is with the Streamlink. If you do get a Streamlink, now
it's called a Steam Link, not a Streamlink. Continue.
Sorry. If you get a Steam Link, Virtual Here will advertise you can use up to 5 devices or whatever if you pay the extra for the DLC. Virtual Here is nice and works great with a singular Xbox One wireless controller. It also works well with up to 3. If you try to connect a 4th, even if you have that DLC, it freaks out. As soon as you connect the 4th, they all shut off. And you have to unplug and replug. It's a nightmare. If you're using 1 or up to 3, Virtual Here is great. I still have the base package for it, but I actually returned I bought the DLC, ended up returning it same day because it was worthless. I believe there's some hardware limitation in there. What I ended up actually doing was running a USB. Since we live in an apartment, it was close enough that we just ran a USB out to the next room. And I just, whenever I'm playing with a bunch of friends, I will plug in there. And sometimes I do that anyways just because it works a little bit better. I don't ever have any issues with it. I usually don't have any issues with Virtual Here as long as I'm only using 1 controller or 2 or 3. So if you're just looking to play games, you and a friend out there, Virtual Here is great. If you want it for 4-player party games, like I have like 8,000 of them for all the get-togethers we have and stuff, you're going to have a bad time.
Mildly ominous.
Back into the setup that we have in this room that already looks overkill enough.
Only slightly.
Only slightly.
I was literally 3 screens in my frame right now. Okay.
Both of our desktops are running an Asus Z370A board with i7 8700Ks overclocked at 4.8 gigahertz. We could get 5, but I clocked them down just a little to bring the bring temps down and bring voltages down. I don't know why it took me so long to think of word voltages. God help me. I have the red and black edition. She has the white and black edition. Both cases are phenomenal. One thing I will say I didn't like as much about the black and red is this one has a little portion right here to cover the back. Here, I'll take that.
Yeah, take the camera. I'm on a bed.
She's sitting on the bed trying to record me. It has this little cover right here on the power supply
Don't mind my hairbrush.
area.
It's grody.
Oh,
Sorry.
where is my hairbrush?
It's right there and it looks disgusting.
This one, it's really hard to see in there. I don't think you really can, but I think you can just barely see a cord back there through the glass. It doesn't have that part of the shield. It still has the front paneling over the PSU shroud, but it doesn't. It has an open section in the front where on hers there's 3 screws holding that in. So I don't know why, or I take that back, 5 screws. I don't know why Corsair did that. Personally, it was kind of like minor disappointment, but in no way a deal breaker for me. It's still an absolutely phenomenal case. I love it all the same. I'm not wishing that I had the white one just for that. I could care less. And with the black one, the cables don't really get noticed anyways. Plus, I have a fully modular power supply, so it's not like I have a lot of extra cables in there anyways. It does, since it is glass on all sides, including the back, which is normally hidden and where you'd hide all of your cables. They do include this nice little shroud here.
I can't see shit from the camera, by the way. Fun fact. If you take off the glass, I will, but I can see reflections right now.
Or if I have a flashlight, I'll grab your phone. Necessity is the mother of invention, as they say.
Or laziness.
That too. But hey, whatever.
You're not wearing socks. Okay. There we go.
So they include this nice little shroud that goes up the case and actually does a phenomenal job of hiding all the cables. So
sometimes it takes a little nipping, a little tucking.
Yeah.
A couple prayers and a lot of swears.
It does work quite well though, and I put a lot of pressure on it to get all those cables under there, and it holds up fine. You're not gonna hurt it, so that's good. That means the construction was well done. You can have room for 2 3.5-inch drives as well as 2 SSDs before you're going to start running out of space. I'm running a Pioneer 120 gig SSD and a 1.5 terabyte Western Digital Black yada 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 something or rather 7200 RPM. It's a great drive, love it.
Fancy drive for fancy people.
Exactly. Inside the case, I am running an Asus Strix branded GTX 980 Ti. I have an older sound card in here as well that I don't really use for much. I sometimes use it when I connect microphones or something to it, but right now that's just going unused. But it's an old Fatality Recon 3D Fatality Edition or something like that. That's like apparently hard to get your hands on, and it was given to me by my brother back in the day. So G.Skill Trident RAM, not much to be said there. I'm sure you guys have seen that 1,000,001 times before. It's pretty, it's flashy, it does what you'd expect RAM to do.
It ramifies.
Yeah.
It has good ramifications.
The cooling capacity on this case is actually quite good. I don't know.
Quite well?
Whatever. Sure.
Good, honey. It's good.
All of these, I will take the front panel off now to showcase this. This is really handy. With the case on the top and the front, you can easily take off the glass with the thumb screws. That goes for all of the glass panels, but we're going to just remove the front right now to show you this. I need to clean this, so don't mind this. They include these nice little removable, I want to call them shields, but
filters, honey. Filters.
That's the word I was looking for. I work on cars and computers and somehow couldn't come up with the word filter.
It's because you have no filter.
That's accurate. It is magnetic, which is handy. Makes it really easy to pop into place. It naturally seems to want to go to where it needs to be, so you don't have to like fudge it around much. I should clean that later. It is really nice. I've literally just taken this
filter,
thank you. I'm losing it. The filter and thrown it in the wash. These do feel flimsy, but they're not really actually that flimsy. I think I've had them pop out once. But it's not really an issue once everything's bracketed together because the metal screws hold them in place very well. And they're actually sturdy enough they don't get damaged easily. Even though they feel like they could break easily, they don't.
Yeah, we had a heart attack about that once.
Yeah,
but
and then I realized, they just pop out of there, and then you can just pop them back in. But I've literally just taken the filter, thrown it under the tub washer, and just,
Tub washer. Tub washer.
I can wait, whatever.
Oh my God.
Poured water
Faucet,
over
honey.
It. Faucet, thank you. Put the faucet over it.
Don't mind the garbage can, by the way. I just realized that's been in the frame the entire time.
Dried it off and thrown it back in, and was done cleaning it in maybe all of 2 minutes tops. So it makes it a lot easier to manage dust because this is after like 1 week and it's already gotten this much dust.
You can hand me my phone.
So,
or not.
So it's actually quite good at keeping the dust out of the system, and I do like the fact that because of the way the glass panel on the top works and the air goes around it, I can still set things on top of my case, albeit gently, or on a cloth, which is what I like to do so that nothing gets damaged.
Scratched.
Exactly. Even though I think it's supposed to be like Gorilla Glass or something. I don't.
It's
glass,
tough. It's
so...
tougher glass. It's still glass. I'm still scared
glass.
to poke it.
Although that being said, I've accidentally dinged this side against the metal here. I don't know how many times. It's making me cry. No scuffs, no scratches, nothing. So I'm very pleased with that. The case all around is wonderful. Everything inside the computer is wonderful. Blah, 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 blah. Moving on. 4K display. Don't need to belabor that point. That's pretty cut and dry. It's a TV. Yes, I use it as my display. I'm not a pro gamer. I love gaming. I love FPS. It actually, I have to say, I picked up the TV on clearance for $225. So it was a deal I couldn't pass up. And I'd formerly been using that LG, which does have a little bit of lag time in it, I've noticed. The Philips, I haven't noticed any real delay. It seems a lot snappier as far as response time. I know technically, according to the specs sheet, there's only supposed to be a 1 millisecond difference. I think it's more than that. Just in my testing and experience with both TVs, this one seems a lot snappier. I'm not one to usually buy a Philips, but I couldn't pass up the deal, and I haven't been at all disappointed. The colors on it look amazing. The contrast is beautiful, and 4K is excellent. As far as the speakers, I'm using an Insignia 2.1 system that also enables Bluetooth, so we can connect our phones to it and such. I'm wired in, and I'm actually using the internal sound card on that Asus motherboard, which is this crystal sound something around it that actually works phenomenally. I can't say I feel like it actually outperforms, and according to the specs, it actually does outperform my old PCI Express sound card. So I mainly just use that for audio input. That being said, got that. I've got the Dell monitor, which is 1080p, which I use for various other things. Say I want to put something like this over here while I'm working on something over here, or I'm playing a game, whatever. I can do that. That got really small.
He's tiny.
So tiny.
You're tiny. Okay.
The display up there is actually connected to this laptop, which is controlled with this living room keyboard right now. That will change soon. We're actually going to be using Synergy. Apparently that works really well. It works better than a program I had been using, and it expired, called Multiplicity. Yep. My license expired, and Synergy looks like a lot better deal too, because you buy it and it's a lifetime license, just like I have with XSplit, which is actually the software that we use. So I can go ahead and open that up. The one thing I am waiting on for this setup, and the one reason I can't showcase everything, is I'm waiting on an adapter so that I can send out a second output from my graphics card. Here's the one catch. We're using a Razer Ripsaw capture card, which can only capture up to 1080p at 60 FPS, which is good for capture cards. Very good. It's, top of the line. That's all well and good, but problem still remains. I'm playing in 4K. Needless to say, that won't work, and I could do a 1080p downsample to that and then pass through to my TV, and then I'm playing in much less quality than I would be getting if I just output 4K. But fortunately with NVIDIA, what I can do is once I get the adapter I'm waiting for, because I don't have an extra HDMI port on my card, so I'm getting a display port to HDMI adapter, which is currently in the mail. Thank you, Amazon. I'm waiting on that. Amazon's fast. That's not me ripping on Amazon. Sidetracked. Anyhow, I can do a downsample where I turn on NVIDIA's downsampling technology, and then I set the good morning. She's yawning. She's getting tired of hearing me talk already.
It's been like 15 minutes and my arms hurt.
The capture card will get a downsample of 4K, so it'll actually output to that in 1080p, but it'll allow Windows to think it's 4K basically. Long and the short of it, I can still output 4K and then a 4K downsample to 1080p to my Razer capture card just as like cloned displays, a second image. So it shouldn't reduce my performance at all. Shouldn't. We're going to find out as soon as that cable arrives, and if so, that's how we're going to stream. What's nice about this setup is that apparently I have an update. That's not what's nice about it. What's nice is that when I'm streaming and I'm playing games here, I can have things like my chat messages open here. I can output all my microphone stuff via Voicemeeter and other methods to the Razer capture card, so that's all really smooth and easy and simple, and everything works great. On top of that, like I said, I can play my games here in 4K. My background just had a heart attack. I don't know why.
Because it knows you're making a video,
no,
so
I
it's
told it to
angry.
pause. I forgot that I told it to pause. See, there it goes. So I can play a game in 4K right here, full screen. Over here, I can have, say, a chat. If I've got, if I'm using Discord to talk to people or whatever I want over there, I can have that over there. And then I've got a full screen 43-inch display showing exactly what the stream would see, where I can edit what's going on and what's being actually sent out on the stream. I can see it. If I need to, I can turn the audio on the TV real quick, just hit unmute, and bam, I can hear what's going on. I can make sure everything is running smoothly with the stream, and if something goes wrong, I can just literally look up and I'll see it. It makes everything really simple, really smooth, and we have gigabit internet. So even like the other day, since I was just testing streaming straight off of this rig with XSplit on here using Gamecaster and just capturing my screen, which does hit my performance, and mind you, using the capture card should not hit my performance at all because of the way I'll be doing it. I don't know if the downsample will slightly affect it, but it shouldn't, and at least not significantly. If there's any lag, it still won't affect it either because it's a separate output to here, theoretically. We'll find out in a few days, but I'm about like 99.99% sure on this. But what is still cool is I can go over here, and so I actually have, here I had a stream, and this is what we were streaming the other day, and so
this was last night, not the other day.
Yeah, this is the replay of it, but I had it up just like that, playing it as we were streaming it because I was testing, which does technically make it look like one extra person was viewing, but fight me. Theoretically, once I get the capture card set up, that won't even be happening because I'll have the XSplit application full screen. And as such, it'll work the way I want it to. Just outputting straight to the TV as opposed to having to send out to the server and then receive from the server. So, nonetheless, it's a very handy setup. Everything works smoothly, easily. There's a lot of cables, but
so many cables.
It's very much worth it.
So many cables, and we don't even have cable. Okay.
The thing is, for a lot of people, this setup would not be worth it because of the investment. A lot of money for an extra TV, extra computer capable of streaming, high quality, and a capture card. Well, I already had the capture card because I, wanted to be able to capture video and stuff when I was playing on my consoles. So I already had that, for one. I had the TV because I had just upgraded my TV. So that one just went up on the wall. And I had the laptop because that was my old gaming rig until I moved to a desktop. So the only thing I've actually had to buy here to do all of this that was separate from things I already had in my apartment was the extra adapter cable that I have coming in the mail.
That was what, $6?
$8, I think. So we'll see if that Chinese quality really nails it. Or if it just fails it. Okay.
Never again. Never again. I'm gonna have nightmares, okay?
Oh my god. So anyhow, that's our setup. That's how it all works. I think this video has probably been like, what, 25 minutes now?
No, 19 minutes, 52
Oh,
seconds.
cool. I kept it under 20 minutes. If you guys have any questions, I don't know if you'll even make it to the end of this video, but if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. I love responding to people. And
He likes talking about technology.
Yeah,
all
I'll
the
talk
time.
for hours, as has been noted. And yeah, just get me started and I'll talk for hours, and I will bestow my knowledges upon you guys, even if you already know it.
and even if he can't remember the words.
Yeah. But ask me questions if you got questions about the setup, questions about something you want to do, setups of your own, ideas you have. Hit me up in the comments, and like, subscribe. More videos on the way very soon. We'll be back to live streaming very soon. I've been using Twitch a lot more, although with the capture card I might start going back to YouTube a little bit. YouTube monetization and copyright is a nightmare. If you play GTA without shutting off all in-game music, they'll copyright strike the crap out of you. It's that bad.
YouTube's a dick. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, technically it's just the people who own those songs that are like, oh my gosh, my song is in the background, barely in your video for like 2 seconds, so we need to copyright strike you so we can get money from that song. It's like, dude, I have like not even 50 views on this video and you're freaking out about it. Go to hell. No, I don't think that should be a thing. It's not how YouTube used to work. I don't think that it should work. It used to be as long as you edited your content, so it wasn't like just straight up that song. If it was like, hey, you talking and the song was in it and you're talking about it or something, you were fine. Now it's like super finicky. You can only have like a little snippet or whatever, and it's only as long as they don't copyright strike you. It's a nightmare. There's a reason a lot of people are moving away from YouTube or looking for other platforms. I have no problems with Google, but YouTube has kind of
taking a shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a lot of perks, which is why a lot of people still like it, because it's easy, it's simple to watch on, and
it's hell for creators though.
Yeah, it's a nightmare for creators. It's easier for people who want to watch. So really, what we need to see is something like YouTube that's not as much of a doesn't involve as much difficulty for creators. Although I'm sure there's a lot of legal malarkey going on in the background with it that's kind of got, Google's hands tied. So I totally understand that, but it is a nightmare. Anywho, guys, I've probably now breached the 20-minute
22
mark. Yeah, I have. Talk your ears off. If you want to see more content, like, subscribe. If you got anything in particular you want to see us do, let us know. Any games you want us to play, let us know. We have quite a library of games. If we don't have it, I'll look and see if we can afford it and get it. And I say if we can afford it because I'm not rich, but
I'm not rich. I just have like
on this.
Yeah.
So I have no money left for games. But yeah,
sad truth.
It's funny, but it's also true. So yeah, but anyways, hit me up in the comments. Like, subscribe. I think I've said all that like 50 times, so I'll stop saying.
At least 3 that I've been counting.
Peace, guys.
Whee!